Hello viewers, and welcome to another special video production from Cardboard of the Rings, the bi-weekly podcast about the Lord of the Rings, the card game, which is a living card game by Fantasy Flight Games. This is Mitch, and today I'm joined with a very special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself, my good sir?
Hello listeners, my name is Peter and I use a three-sphere deck, and I have taken away all my high-cost cards. I only have low-cost cards in my deck, 1, 2, 3 for the most, and with a few exceptions. This is my solo deck, so it will be nice to see how it stacks up with Mitch now famous deck.
Sure, and I'm going to be playing the deck that you guys have seen in a couple other videos now with Glorfindel, Frodo, and Aragorn. So it's got lots of that action advantage, it's got lots of threat lowering ability, so I should hopefully be able to take lots of different actions each round and control for threats. The scenario that Peter and I are looking to play today is going to be the escape from Dol Guldur. So as you can see, I've got the quest cards laid out here on the table. The Nazgul of Dol Guldur is already sitting, removed from play, and I've taken the liberty of putting these three objectives here in the staging area. So to go ahead and start the game, we're going to go ahead and set our beginning threat at our starting level. It looks like mine is going to be starting out at 24, and Peter's is going to be at, 26? So
yeah,
he's got...
right.
An interesting group of heroes here. Do you have a lot of dwarf cards in your deck, Peter?
Yeah, I have many dwarves, but not as much as a dwarf deck. I focus on the low-cost allies.
Sure. Okay. Well, to go ahead and kick things off, why don't we go ahead and draw our opening hands? So we're going to shuffle our decks and go ahead and draw our first 6 cards. And it looks like I got a pretty good hand, but not exactly what I want. What's really a problem about Dol Guldur here is we have to get our beginning hand before we know what hero is going to be captured. So I'm going to go ahead and take a mulligan, even though I'm probably going to regret it, just to try and get that Light of
For
Valinor.
sure.
Well, okay, I at least got Light of Valinor, even though my second hand here doesn't look nearly as good. So, are you happy with
I got one nice card.
Excellent. And I guess at this...
I'm going to stick with my...
Cool.
Sorry?
So at this point, we can go ahead and start looking at our first quest card here. So we have to search the encounter deck for our 3 objective cards, place them on the table. We've put the Nazgul of Dol Guldur face up but out of play. Let's see, we've got to shuffle the encounter deck and do 1 encounter for each card. So shuffle that encounter deck, and now we've got these 3 different objectives here, and we're going to attach 1 encounter card to each. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Our first encounter card is Dol Guldur Orcs, so there are no characters currently committed to the quest. That when revealed effect does not do anything. Second card is going to be Under the Shadow. So until the end of the phase, raise the total threat in the staging area by X, where X is the number of players in the game. This does not do anything during this startup, so we got pretty lucky there. And our third and final encounter card is going to be a King Spider. So this is going to go off right now. So which of our characters should we exhaust? I'm going to go ahead and exhaust Frodo, and how about you, Peter?
I'm going to take Tallinn.
Okay, so Thalin. And then that is our startup. 1A is now over with, and we have to move into 1B. So this is 9 quest points, and now what we have to do is randomly select one hero card among all the heroes controlled by the players and turn it face down. That hero is going to be the prisoner, cannot be used, cannot be damaged, does not collect resources until it is rescued. And important to keep in mind is that during this quest phase, we cannot play more than one ally per round. So hopefully you'll be able to get a lot of those cheap allies in your deck out. I've got a lot of attachments in this deck, so hopefully that'll work out okay. So, to figure out what hero we're going to use, why don't I just pull up Google Chrome here, go to a random number generator. I probably should have done this ahead of time. So, let me pull this out. Minimum value 1, maximum value 6, and we'll just do a little string of our heroes. So 1 is Glorfindel, 2 is Frodo, 3 is Aragorn, 4 is Thalin, 5 is Denethor, 6 is Dwalin. Generate, and the result is going to be 6. So it looks like Dwalin is going to be our prisoner. So if you want to mouse over him and press F8 on your keyboard, that'll flip him upside down. Okay, so he is our prisoner. So how do you feel about losing the spirit resource icon right off the bat? Like, is that really going to hold you back, or?
Bad. Yeah, big blow.
All right. Okay, so hopefully we'll be able to get to the second phase of the quest pretty quickly then, and rescue that prisoner. So I've got to say I'm kind of happy it wasn't one of my heroes, but let's try and make it through this together, okay?
Yeah,
all
for
right.
sure.
So for starting the game, which of us do you think should be the first player? So who's going to act first? Who's going to act second?
I think you can be the first player this
Okay.
round.
So I might as well just hit the play button next to my name. So turn 1 will start with me as the first player. Why don't we go ahead and each draw one card and assign one resource to each of our non-prisoner characters. Right off the bat, I'm going to go ahead and play Daron's Runes. So I'm going to draw 2 cards, discard 1 card from my hand. And the card I'm going to discard is going to be an unnecessary copy of this Light of Valinor. So, nice first turn card there. And for my planning phase, I'm going to pay 1 resource from Glorfindel for a Light of Valinor on Glorfindel. So he can quest, he can attack, very strong start for us. I'm also going to pay 1 resource. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Pay 1 resource for a fast hitch. Whoops. I'm confusing my buttons on Frodo, and I'm going to go ahead and exhaust that right away to ready him. And how about you? What are you going to do for planning?
This round, nothing. I got stranded on the beach.
Alright, lots of spirit cards in your hand, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
that's no problem.
Let's go ahead and see who we want to commit to the quest. So it looks like both of these enemies are pretty low engagement cost. They're probably going to be engaging us pretty quickly. So that might cause a small problem. We're going to be revealing 2 cards per turn. So who would you like to commit to the quest? I think I personally am going to do Glorfindel and Aragorn for a total of 5.
Okay,
and
and
how
we
about you?
already have 4 in the staging area, right?
Yeah, right, we'll have 4.
And I have to do Denethor then.
Okay, so we're going to do a total of 6 committed to the quest. And shall we go ahead and stage our first couple encounter cards?
Yeah.
Okay, so card number 1 is going to be the Necromancer's Reach. So 1 damage to each exhausted character. So it looks like Aragorn is going to take a damage, as will Thalin and Denethor. Oh, it looks like there you go. It's F3 is add a damage token.
My big fingers.
Oh, no problem. And let me get that treachery card off the board. Our next card is looking to be caught in a web. Wow, that's just remarkable. What is your threat total right now?
Is it 26?
26. So you are going to have to attach this to one of your heroes. Do you have any preference for who that's going to go on? This is a really bad start for you.
I guess I can't take my prisoner.
Yeah, I don't think it can be the prisoner.
So then I'm going to take Talin.
Let's see here. Cannot be used, cannot be damaged, does not collect resources. Alright, so on Thalin. Miserable start, but hopefully we'll push through this. And I think you've got some miners in your deck, if I remember right, so...
They are in there.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be able to push through. It looks like right now we've got a total of 4 threats sitting here in the staging area. I'm gonna go ahead and... I think just because there's discard event cards in this, before quest resolution, I'm going to play 2 copies of this Elrond's Council. So I'm going to play them on Glorfindel, or he's going to be my unique Noldor character, and I'm going to give Aragorn this +2 willpower. So these are going to enter my discard pile. I'm going to drop my threat by 6, and we're going to quest for a total of 8. So it looks like we're going to make 4 progress on this first quest phase. Okay. Now, we don't have anything to travel to. How about the encounter phase here? So I'm the first player, and I can optionally engage one of these. I suppose I'll optionally engage the Dol Guldur orcs. And then I'm going to have the King Spider engage with me by default, since all of your characters are exhausted. And I think that's pretty much good for combat. Just go ahead and chime in if you have any events or anything like that you'd like to play.
Not at the moment.
So, alright, at the beginning of combat, I'll go ahead and assign shadow cards, starting with highest engagement cost first. And now let's go ahead and do our combat resolution. So, first things first is I think I'll have Frodo defend against the King Spider here. And the shadow card there is nothing. So just in the sake of getting rid of clutter, I'm going to go ahead and discard that shadow card. Frodo's defense is going to shave 2 points off of that, but he's still going to take 1 point of damage. The Dol Guldur orcs, I'm going to go ahead and declare as an undefended attack. So its shadow card is... Oh, wow. So choose and discard 1 attachment you control. If this attack is undefended, discard all attachments you control. That is absolutely a miserable way to start this game. So I lose Fast Hitch, and I lose Light of Valinor. Ah, that's just terrible. But I do get to attack back at this point, so I'm going to go ahead and have a... I'm going to assign the 2 attack damage to Frodo, and I'm going to take that as a threat increase. So I'm going to be at 20 threats, and I'm going to have Glorfindel take a swing for 3 at the Dol Guldur orcs, which are killed. So, pretty miserable start for both of us this game, but...
Yeah, that's the worst ever.
Yeah, but hopefully we can recover at this point, so... I guess that's it for combat. If you hit F5, that refreshes all of your characters. And I'll increase my threat by 1. I'll press your play button to make you the first player. And we can go ahead and move on to our second turn. If you want to do your resources and draw a card. And what are you going to do for your planning phase? Oh, and I guess your Thalin doesn't ready because of the caught in a web. Miserable.
Very.
So what are you going to do? I've got a pretty good ally I could play.
Yeah, you can play allies this turn. Mine are the wrong color.
Alright. And, well,
So-
my my ally will certainly help us push closer to the next turn.
I guess I can play Protector of Lorien on Glorfindel. Or do you want it on Aragon?
I think it's probably... Well, I guess it's probably best on Aragorn.
Okay.
I'm kind of bummed that I don't have the Light of Valinor anymore. I'm just going to go ahead and take control of that. That's really a shame. Now it makes me sad that I discarded my second copy. Anything else from you this turn?
No, I also sad that I threw away my light in my deck.
Yeah, but, well, I've got another copy floating around, so hopefully I'll draw it sooner rather than later. But miserable start for sure.
For sure.
Okay, so I think, is that the only card you're going to play?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to pay 2 resources from Frodo to put out Arwen Undomiel, and I'm going to pay 1 resource from Aragorn for a fast hitch on Frodo Baggins. And I think that's all I'm going to do this turn. Alright, shall we move on to questing?
Yeah.
Okay, and who are you going to commit?
I think this turn I only commit Denethor.
Okay, Denethor again. I'm going to do Arwen, and she'll use her ability on Frodo. I'm also going to do... this stinks. I don't like committing Glorfindel to the quest, but I suppose I'll have to. I'm going to increase my threat by 1 to commit him to the quest, so I'm going to do a total of 5, and you'll do 1, so that's going to be a total of 6. I really want to get rid of this King Spider, is why I'm not committing more characters.
Yeah, and we also need to push through to get the prisoner out.
Sure. So, at this point, let's go ahead and do our staging. So, revealing a couple cards from the encounter deck. Card number 1 is going to be the Dol Guldur Beastmaster. So is your threat anywhere near 35?
No, it's 27.
Okay, so thank goodness for small miracles. Card number 2 is going to be the Necromancer's Reach. Okay, but that's not the end of the world, but still, that's pretty bad. So, looks like both of your characters are going to take a point of damage.
Yes.
I wish I had some of my win reveal cancels. Gosh.
I got them.
Yeah, you just need your Dwalin back.
Yeah.
But I guess no new enemies, and since we've committed 6, we are going to go ahead and make 4 more progress. So we're almost done with this first phase of the quest. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pay 1 resource off Glorfindel between quest resolution and staging, and I'm going to go ahead and play Bofur. So I'm using his quest action ability, so he's not technically being played, and this allows us to kind of circumvent that 1 ally per round, just like Sneak Attack Gandalf. So he's put into play exhausted to commit to the quest, and we're going to have a total of 8 willpower with him. So that's going to put our progress tokens at 10, and that's going to allow us to pass that first phase of the quest. So at the end of this quest phase, since we have quested successfully, he goes to my round, that resource, he goes to my hand, that resource is gone, but we are going to be able to pass our first quest phase. So that puts us at 2A, where there's no text, and then, of course, to 2B. So once we put any number of progress tokens on this card, we flip the prisoner face up, put a damage token on him, and he may now be used. So we still can't play more than 1 ally per round, and remember that as soon as the prisoner is rescued, we have to move this Nazgul back into the staging area. So I guess that's that, but we're certainly chugging along here.
We need more quest power.
Yeah, no kidding. So, okay, shall we move along? There's no traveling to be done. We have to move on to our encounter phase. I don't want to engage with the Dol Guldur Beastmaster, do you?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, somehow I figured that would be your answer here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and skip the encounter phase. For combat, the only enemy in play is this King Spider. He's going to attack, and I will defend with Frodo, use Fast Hitch to ready him, and let's see what the Shadow card is. So, no Shadow card. I'm going to go ahead and discard that. Frodo is going to take 1 damage, and I'm going to take that as a gain in threat instead of having him die. And as a response, I'm going to have Aragorn and Frodo both attack for a total of 4, which is just enough damage to kill the King Spider. So it's at 0 hit points and it is killed. And that is going to bring us to the end of the round. So let's refresh our characters. And I assume you probably don't want to use all of Thalin's resources to refresh him.
No, I let him stay down.
Okay. But you at least get to ready Denethor, and then if you'd increase your threat by 1 and press the green play button next to the light darker, I'll be the first player for round 3. Okay, so we might as well draw a card, do our resources, and I've got a cancel when revealed effects, should we need that.
Pew!
And for this turn, I don't think I'm going to play anything. How about you?
Yeah. I guess you're going to do the most of the attacking in this game, and I guess it's going to be Glorfindel, or do you want to use Aragorn as your main attacker now?
My main attacker, well, I was hoping it would be Glorfindel, but at this point, probably Glorfindel, just because he doesn't have the Protector of Lorien.
Okay. So then I'm going to play a Blade of Gondolin on him.
Okay, so +1 when attacking an orc. Certainly useful. Kind of wishing that the Nazgul of Dol Guldur were an orc, but be that as it may, we at least get some progress tokens, so... Okay, anything else from you, Mike? Alright, so... And nothing from me, like I said. How about questing? So we've got to make a total of 15 progress before we can pass. As soon as we make a single progress token, this Nazgul of Dol Guldur is going to enter the staging area and start contributing quite a bit of threat against us. So definitely wishing I had some more attack strength in this deck, but we'll make do.
No questing for me.
Alright, so for me, I think I'm probably going to do... There's 2 in the staging area. I'll do Aragorn, Arwen, always affecting Frodo with her ability. And I think that's all... Well, crap. I think that's all I'm going to do for this turn. So I'm going to do 4. And, shall we move on to staging?
Let's do it.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and reveal card number 1, which is an Iron Shackles. So the first player right now is me, so this is going to go to the top of my deck, and it basically prevents me from drawing 1 card. Not the end of the world. Card number 2 is going to be the Necromancer's Pass, which I'm pretty much fine with. And this is the first player must discard 2 cards from his hand at random to travel there. Really not too concerned about that. There's 5 threat in the staging area. Would you like to get your hero back this turn, or what are you thinking about that?
It can wait, actually. It can wait.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm just wondering. The only problem is really this Nazgul of Dol Guldur is going to come down as soon as that happens, so I'm happy to try and tank that with Frodo for as long as I can, which should be long enough to kill him, but if you can wait, then we might as well just wait, so shall we go ahead and quest unsuccessfully by 1?
Yeah.
Alright, so let's increase our threat by 1, and we've failed this quest phase. For combat this turn, For the travel, I think we should not travel to Necromancer's Pass. I'll be able to play a card that can get rid of that on my next turn, so no reason that we should discard 2 cards at random to travel there.
Cool.
What's up?
Oh, that's fine.
Okay. Sure, and then for the encounter phase, the Dol Guldur Beastmaster, I think I want to get him out of play, just because now is a kind of convenient time to deal with him, so I'm going to go ahead and engage with him. So for the combat phase, he's going to get 2 shadow cards. I'll have him attack, and I will have Frodo with 3 defense as the defender. I'll use Fast Hitch to ready Frodo after declaring him as a defender. And his shadow cards are... Okay, so defending player must choose and exhaust 1 character he controls. I'm going to go ahead and pick Frodo for that. And the defending player raises his threat by the number of enemies with which he is engaged. So a massive 1. So pretty wimpy effect. I'm going to get those shadow cards off the table. Frodo's defense is equal to this attack strength, so there's no damage done. He takes, no threat gain. And as a response, I'm going to have Glorfindel take a swing for 4, which is going to do 3 damage to the Dol Guldur Beastmaster here. So not enough to kill it, but it could get killed next turn. So, anything else?
And it's not in the staging area.
So, oh, yeah, exactly. So it's not contributing its threat against us. So, anything from you before the end of our turn here?
No, actually... nothing.
Okay, so why don't we go ahead and refresh all of our characters, increase our threat by 1. I will make you the first player for round 4, and then we can go ahead and do our resources and draw a card. So I, of course, got that Iron Shackles, and it's going to be discarded. So,
Sorry, I wanted to peek with Denethor, I forgot it.
Oh, before the end of the turn?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to peek at the top card of the encounter deck. And so the top card of the encounter deck is the Dol Guldur Orcs right here. So are you wanting that to be on the top of the encounter deck, or do you want to move it to the bottom?
2 damage to a character committed to a quest, that's not so good, I think, for us at the moment.
No. No, it's
so
definitely not.
To the bottom of the...
Alright, so I'll put that on the bottom. And did you do that before the refresh phase, I assume?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So Denethor's ready, and for your planning phase this turn, anything that you're looking to play?
I wanted to play an ally this turn, if it's okay.
Sure.
I played a Minstrel.
Sure, great quester there. And are you going to search your deck for a song as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know which song it's going to be.
Alright, well, while you're looking through your deck, I'm going to go ahead and take... Well, I guess I'll just start taking my turn just to save some time. And I'm going to go ahead and pay 2 resources off of Aragorn for Asphaloth on Glorfindel. And that's all I'm going to do on my turn. So once you've found that song, are you going to be playing that?
I'm going to using that at the moment also.
Okay. So your Song of Travel?
Yes.
And if you want...
damage? Yeah, I might... Wrong button again.
What about damage?
I mistakenly removed a damage instead of a resource.
Oh, simple mistake.
And with the new Song of Travel on Tallinn, I'm going to play on you, I think. Unexpected Courage.
On, which character? Glorfindel?
I think you like Glorfindel, right?
Yeah, that would be perfect.
2 attacks.
And I'm just going to move that up there. If you want to put that Song of Travel behind Thalin, you can use the page down option on your keyboard, if you'd like. Here, I could just... Whoops.
Yeah.
I could just do it like that if you want.
For sure.
And you can right-click to take control of that again. Anything else from you on your turn? That was quite the turn.
No, it's fine. No more plays for me. Is it my turn to commit to quest?
Okay, yeah, so committing to the quest. Who would you like to send?
The minstrels?
Alright, so your minstrel for 2?
Yes.
I'm going to go ahead and do Arwen, and... Okay, so we're probably going to make at least 1 progress this turn. The Nazgul is going to come down, so I'm going to do Glorfindel, and I'll make sure he's not exhausted thanks to Unexpected Courage. So I'll do Arwen, targeting Frodo with her ability, and Glorfindel. So I'm going to do 5, and you're going to do 2, for a total of 7. I'm going to go ahead and trigger Asphalloth to put 2 progress tokens on this Necromancer's Pass, and that's immediately going to be explored. So it looks like we're committing 7, and we're going up against a total of 0. So for staging, let's see what we get here. Card number 1 is going to be a Great Forest Web. Card number 2 is going to be a Hummerhorns. So this is an interesting guy. It's probably not going to be an issue. My threat is going to start getting pretty high once the Nazgul engages with me, but, you know, if I can stop it from engaging me, that's great. If I just have it engage with me and Frodo takes 5 threat, that's also not the end of the world, but for most decks, that's pretty lethal. So we're up against 3 threat. It looks like we're going to make total of 4 progress, and I think that's pretty much good. Anything that, anything you want to play before we resolve our quest here?
Nothing.
Okay, so for travel, I vote we do not travel, since I'll be able to use Asphalloth to destroy the Great Forest Web as soon as our turn is over. And for engagement, I think we're fine leaving the Hummerhorns where they are. Since we did make more than 1 progress token, some things do happen. So the prisoner is rescued, first of all. So if you want to press F8 to turn around Dwalin, he's now rescued. So he's got 1 damage token on him. And the Nazgul of Dol Guldur now enters the staging area. So, man, that is such a miserable, miserable forced effect on there. So, man, that's just hard. Because I'm not going to be able to pump out a lot of allies to deal with that shadow effect. But hopefully I'll be able to get something. Still, that's so miserable. We might be gaining some threat. Yeah, so if it gets any shadow effect, any card with a shadow effect, the engaged player has to choose and discard 1 character he controls. We might need to use your Denethor to try and get around that. So.
But it's only when the Nazgul attacks, right?
Yeah, only when the Nazgul attacks, but I don't have too many characters to discard, and I've only got so many in this deck, but hopefully we'll be okay. So,
what is strat
I guess
40, right?
Yeah, for the engagement phase, I don't want to engage the Nazgul yet, so I'm gonna hold off on that. What is your threat right now?
It's 31.
Okay. So let's see. What?
Your threat?
My threat is 27.
Okay,
so
we're
I'm
fine for...
Yeah, I'm still quite a ways away. Even though he's got 5 threat, we should be able to make it, so... And hopefully we'll get lucky, he won't get shadow effects. So, for engagement, I'm also going to leave the Hummerhorns alone. Well... No, they're fine. It's just 1 threat against us every turn. Hopefully I'm going to pull some Gandalfs to help with that Nazgul, because what a pain in the ass. Alright, viewers, so it just came to my attention that we made a small mistake here. So it's been a while since I've played the Escape from Dol Guldur, and we forgot this little clause at the bottom where its players cannot advance to stage 2A until they claim at least one objective card. So what we're going to have done, and again we ask your apologies about this, is we're going to have attached Gandalf's map to one of Peter's heroes here. So he'll raise his threat by 2 right now, which shouldn't have made any difference whatsoever. So you haven't really done any attacking or defending with either Denethor or Thalin. So which of your characters would you like this stuck on?
Tallinn.
Okay, so Thalin. So I'm going to go ahead and set this down here. And so he's got quite a few attachments on him. He cannot attack or defend so long as he has this attachment on him. So small mistake there, but in this case it didn't really do anything throughout the course of the game. So where we had left off, we're about to do the combat phase. So why don't I go ahead and attach a couple shadow cards to this Dol Guldur Beastmaster. It'll attack. I'm going to have Frodo as the defender, readied through Fast Hitch. And I'm going to go ahead and reveal those shadow cards. So even if this would have been the Nazgul of Dol Guldur, no shadow effects, I'm going to get those off the table to prevent clutter. Frodo has 3 defense thanks to Arwen, so no damage to him, no threat gain necessary. I'm going to go ahead and have Glorfindel swing back for 4. So it's going to deal a total of 3 damage to this enemy here, and he is killed. The Blade of Gondolin is going to trigger because he destroyed an enemy, and that means we place 1 progress token on our current quest card. And that is going to be it for combat. Anything for you before the end of the round? Anything with Denethor?
Yeah, I'm going to peek, as always,
Okay.
at the end of the round.
So top card of the encounter deck is Driven by Shadow. So each enemy and location is going to get +1 threat until the end of the phase. That's going to be +2 threats, and I'm alright with that, on being on the top of the deck. So 2 threat, and then it's gone forever. I'm okay with that.
For sure.
Okay, so let's just return that to the top. And now let's go ahead and do our refresh phase. So if you would click my first player button, and I'll increase my threat by 1. And we'll draw a card and do 1 resource to each of our characters. And I got something pretty lame. I wish that I could get to my astronomers in this deck. My ladies that gaze at the stars. Would be so nice to have that ability in play right now. But no luck so far. For my turn, I think, as strange as this is to do, I'm going to pay 3 resources. Well, do you have an ally you'd like to play, first of all?
I can, but I guess you have a better one, right?
Well, and I really want allies too, in case I've got to start discarding characters to the Nazgul. So
yeah,
I guess I'll
figured
play Bofur. And how about you? What are you going to play?
Do you think we need more questing power on your heroes?
It wouldn't hurt. It's probably not going to make much of a difference, just because I think we'll be able to quest before we'll be able to kill the Nazgul. So I definitely think we could benefit more from any sort of combat ability or Gandalfing to try and get rid of this goddamn Nazgul.
Yeah.
But you might not have that as an option. Yeah. Okay, well, anything from you?
Yeah, for sure. I will just help you. And I guess the protector of... No, the favor of the lady is going to be...
Okay. Favor of the lady. And let me see. Which hero would that be best on? That'd probably be best, I guess, on Glorfindel, since he's got that unexpected courage. So, okay. Sounds good to me. And, how about questing? Who are we going to commit here? I'll do Glorfindel, increase my threat by 1, ready him. And I'm also going to do Arwen, and I think Bofur. So at this point, I think I'm going to try and engage that Nazgul, and I'm going to try and kill it. Unless we get some really nasty enemies coming off the deck. So I'm going to commit a total of 8 myself, and you're going to make that 10?
Yes.
Okay. And shall we go ahead and do our staging? So card number 1 is that Driven by Shadow, and I'm just going to put that there to remind us that it's in effect. So Hummerhorns is going to be +1 threats, Great Forest Web +1 threat, Nazgul of Dol Guldur +1 threats. Next card is going to be Dol Guldur Orcs. So the first player picks a character committed to the quest and does 2 damage to it. I'm going to go ahead and pick Bofur to take 2 damage. So I'm also going to trigger Asphalloth before we do our quest resolution to put 2 progress tokens on this Great Forest Web. Hummerhorns is going to be +1 threat, Nazgul is +1 threat, and the Dol Guldur Orcs are 2 threats. So it's going to be a total of 2, 8, 10, and we're going to break even, so no progress made this turn. That's pretty miserable, but at least we're not gaining a lot of threat, so can't complain. We do have one enemy that's going to engage with us, but it's not a really big deal. I suppose you could try and deal with the Dol Guldur Orcs if you'd like.
Yeah, that was my plan.
Sure, sounds good. So for travel phase, there's nothing. Engagement phase, you'll optionally engage the Orcs. I'll optionally engage the Nazgul. Let's do our combat here. So shadow cards are like this. We've got to resolve my attack first since I'm first player. I'll have Frodo block the Nazgul. So it's swinging for 4. And there's no shadow card, thankfully. So its attack of 4. Frodo has a defense of 3. I'm going to take that damage as a threat gain. So I'm going to ready Frodo. And my threat is now 28. How about your turn? Who is going to be defending against these Dol Guldur Orcs?
So Denethor is going to defend.
Okay. And their shadow card is nothing. So his defense is high enough that he takes no damage. And how about attacks here? So I've got to go first. I'll do Glorfindel and Frodo and Aragorn versus our Nazgul, so a total of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And its defense is going to be 3, so it's going to take a total of 4 damage. So it's still going to be another couple turns before I can kill this guy. And how about your attack?
So it's going to be Dvalin attacking.
Okay, so a couple points of damage on the Dol Guldur Orcs. And anything else before the end of our turn?
Nothing for me.
Okay, so let's go ahead and ready all of our characters. Increase our threat by 1. And I will make you the first player for round 6. So I'm going to draw a card and do my resources. And what are you going to play?
So I'm going to play an ally, if I may.
Sure.
So I'm going to play Eberor Hammersmith.
Okay.
And use him for you in your discard pile to pick up.
I'm certainly looking at this Light of Valinor being the top card of my discard pile, so that's fantastic. So this is the top card that returns to my hand. Thank you very much, good sir. That's awesome. So much appreciated. And that'll give Glorfindel even more attacking capabilities, so that's awesome. Alright, so anything else on your turn?
No, nothing.
Okay, so for mine, I'm going to go ahead and pay 1 resource from Glorfindel For Light of Valinor for the second time. I'll pay 1 resource off Frodo for a Song of Wisdom on him. And that's all I'm going to be doing for this turn. So, questing, who are you going to commit?
I'm going to commit my 2 allies for 3.
Okay, so Glorfindel no longer exhausts to commit to the quest, so he's going to be 4. Arwen is going to be 6. Bofur will be a total of 11 for both of us. Arwen is going to, as always, target Frodo with her ability, and we're going to have a total 11 committed to the quest. So we're probably going to make a lot of progress this turn. Staging number 1, the card will be a Tower Gate. So after traveling there, we have to put some orcs down. Not too bad. Card number 2 is going to be Caught in a Web. So are you the highest threat total player?
Yes.
I'm at 29. What are you at?
35.
35?
Yes. So I get it.
Okay. Well, I could cancel it, but I'm a little...
Stalin?
I was feeling like I should probably save that. Thalon probably isn't going to be doing much between now and the end of the game.
I can, yeah. Well, I can also cancel it, actually. Maybe time for that.
Well,
yeah, I do it.
Okay. So instead of being played, this is going to be straight up canceled. Okay. And I'll have one in case there's any sort of emergency. So before we resolve our quest, I'm going to use Asphalloth to put a couple tokens on this Tower Gate. So it's not going to commit any threat against us, and we're going to pass with 10 progress. So we're going to have enough progress to make it to the end of the quest here. If we want to pick up the rest of these objective cards, I don't think that we should, just because it seems like the quest is going to be harder. But, I don't know. Do you think that we should try and pass the quest this phase if we both pick up some objective cards, or should we wait?
I think we can wait 1 round.
Sure, just because so long as this Nazgul is in play, we cannot win, so I think we might as well wait until he's killed. Okay, so combat. Since there's no travel, there's no engagement, the Hummerhorns is fine where it's at. You are the first player now, so I'm going to give a shadow card first to your guy. And how do you want to deal with defending against your Dol Guldur orcs?
Same as last round, Donator.
Okay, and its shadow card is nothing. So he does not take any damage. From my attack, I'll have Frodo defend, I'll have Fast Hitch ready him, and there's no shadow card again, so I do not have to discard a character. Frodo is going to take 1 damage, and I'm going to gain that as threat instead of having him die. So for attacking, what are you going to do?
Well, I'm going to use Dwalin to kill off the last hit points of the orc.
Sure, so the orc is going to take another couple points of damage. He's going to be killed, and you get to trigger that response, so you get to lower your threat by 2. And for me,
well needed.
I'm going to go ahead and do the triple strike again, so another 7 damage versus the Nazgul here. So its defense is going to shave off 3 of those, but it's going to be sitting at 1 hit point, so kind of frustrating that it's not dead. Hopefully I'll draw a Gandalf or something like that on my turn, but I probably am not going to get that lucky, but here's hoping. So might as well wrap up our turn. So refresh everything, increase your threat by 1, and if you'd click my first player button, please. Alright, so let's go ahead and draw a card, do our resources, and do you have an ally that you're looking to play this turn?
No. You can use the ally option this round if you like.
Well, I think if that's the case, I'm going to pay 2 for a very late, not very useful Imladris Stargazer. And I think I'm going to go ahead and trigger it now. So I'm going to look at the top 5 cards of my deck, rearrange those in any order. It's all junk. Damn. Okay, so there's that. So I think, I guess it was okay. It wasn't great. So I'm going to do this order. And I'm done. So anything that you're looking to play at all?
No, I only got events left. One that could be quite nice to have.
Okay.
You know, Swiss Strike?
Right. Okay. So we could potentially get rid of this Nazgul as soon as it's...
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Well,
Exactly
that's...
my plan.
Yeah, that's good to know. So let's go ahead and move on to our questing. So I'm going to go ahead and commit Glorfindel for 4. I guess at this point we really only have to break even. So, actually at this point, should we grab some of these objectives? So we'll start our quest phase, and we might as well grab these objectives. And then we'll quest strongly. We can make enough progress tokens to get through our 3rd quest phase, and then hopefully end the game this round as soon as the Nazgul dies, if that sounds good to you.
Yeah, that's my plan. We could finish it this round if we are lucky.
Sure. So how's about I attach this key to... I'm going to go ahead and attach this key to Frodo, so at the end of each round, he'll take 1 damage, but once per phase, I can trigger his ability, so that's not going to be any kind of problem at all. I've got to raise my threat by 2 to do that, and then I'm also going to, I think I'm going to raise my threat by 2 to grab the dungeon torch. So Frodo is just miserable holding the torch, holding the key. My threat is 35 right now, but I think we're going to be okay. So, shall we go ahead and finish our quest phase? So, you've got that Swift Strike, which is going to be the most important thing. So long as we make 7 progress tokens, we're going to be able to pass our quest. So, as soon as I attach those 3 Escape from Dol Guldur objective cards, we pass quest phase 2B. We move to 3A, there's no relevant text, and we move to 3B. So at the beginning of each quest phase, but we're in the middle of the quest phase, we'd have to put some orc guards down, but that's not a problem right now. So we cannot win the quest so long as this Nazgul is in play, but hopefully we'll be able to beat it, kill it this phase, and have those 7 progress tokens waiting for us. So, for committing to the quest, I think we should probably do a really strong quest push. If you've got Swift Strike, all we need is 1 defender left open to get rid of that Nazgul. So I'm going to do Glorfindel, Frodo, Aragorn, Arwen, and Bofur. So I'm going to do 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 myself. And I could still do Protector of Lorien if we need. And what are you going to commit?
I'm going to commit everything.
Okay. And what is that for you? For a total of 5?
Yeah, not much, but anyway.
But it helps.
You saved Glorfindel for something nasty in the encounter deck, I guess.
Right. So he doesn't have to exhaust to commit to a quest. So even if we get a bunch of stuff, if somehow we don't pass, he can do multiple attacks. So we should be good to go. Let's do our staging here. So card number 1 is going to be Enchanted Stream. Card number 2 is going to be each player discards all event cards from his hand. So you said you had a lot of events in your hand, right?
Yeah. And also my Swift Strike is event, so I'm going to... Yeah.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and do a test of will. So I'm going to pay 1 resource off Frodo to cancel that effect. So instead of stealing victory from us, I'm going to cancel it. And I'm also going to trigger, trigger Asphalloth to put 2 tokens on the enchanted stream. So we're going to make a total of 15 progress, which is going to be plenty to pass our current quest phase here. But the Nazgul of Dol Guldur is still in play, so we have not won quite yet. Alright, so no traveling to be done. For the engagement phase, I'm still under 40 threat, so the Hummerhorns is going to leave me alone. For the combat phase, I'm going to go ahead and stick a shadow card on this Nazgul of Dol Guldur. It's going to attack, and I'll use Frodo. And do you have an event you'd like to play, my good sir?
Yes, Swiss Strike.
Okay, so after a character is declared as a defender, we do 2 damage to the attacking enemy. That circumvents defense, so the Nazgul is going to be at 10 damage. It's only got 9 hit points. It is going to be discarded, and we've got the 15 progress tokens on our active quest phase. So we've got a surplus of 8. We've met all the different victory requirements for the game. The Gandalf's map is sitting on Thalin. The Dungeon Torch and the Shadow Key are both attached to Frodo. So at this point, we have won the game. Even if the Nazgul's attack would have gone off, it still would not have had a shadow card. So we might as well go ahead and tally up our score at this point during this victory over the escape from escape from Dol Guldur. That was always so hard to say when I first started playing this game. So I'm at 35 threat. What was your total threat?
34.
Okay, 34, so 35 plus 34. Let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 damage points on our heroes. We have no dead heroes, so that's going to bring us to 77. Let me see how many rounds we took. Scrolling up. So we started turn number 7, but we didn't make it to the refresh phase, so that doesn't count. That means we're going to add 60 points to our score. And I think those are all the different variables there. We didn't have any victory points, and that's going to bring us to a score of a very elite 137. So that is the escape from Dol Guldur. I guess now that we've beaten this scenario, do you have any thoughts or last words, Peter?
Well, I think we are quite unlucky in the beginning, but we made a good recovery at the end.
For sure, I definitely think so. It really hurt losing those attachments early on. Having Fast Hitch and Light of Valinor helps get around that 1 ally per turn rule. I thought it was really too bad that I didn't get my Stargazer until the very end, but I think Asphalloth helped a lot. What do you think would have been really nice for you to see in your deck, since it seems like you were kind of hurting pretty badly, especially the first half of the game?
Well, I started with 5 spirit cards.
Yeah.
That was my problem.
Right, losing Dwalin, yeah, that's pretty bad. But
and I had unexpected courage from the beginning, and you also saw the favor of the lady, and
Right.
that
Well,
hurt me.
Something we talk about in episode 30 of Cardboard of the Rings is power creep, and how the game has kind of changed, and how the cards have gotten much stronger, how the scenarios have maybe, gotten stronger to keep up with the players. I think you mentioned you hadn't played the Escape from Dol Guldur before, but how do you think this measured up now that we have access to, almost 12 adventure packs worth of cards?
Well, it feels like with the big attachments and cool new version 2 heroes, the difficulty level is no longer a 7, it's more like a 5 in my
Sure, it definitely seemed like it wasn't too hard for us here, even with the really rough start. So, all right.
I agree.
Well, unless you have anything else to say, as always, I'll just let the viewers know. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe. Let us know what else you'd like to see. We thought this would be a nice little adventure back to one of the less often visited, but once very difficult scenarios from the core set. So, as always, let us know what you want to see, let us know what you think, like, subscribe, and as always, thank you guys for watching, and see you next time.